national security.
Julie Lopez, Shadow Secretary of State.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Ministers are making very big claims about the pharmaceuticals deal with America to make up for the billions lost in life sciences investment under Labour. But life sciences firms are telling me, unless the government reveals what's actually in this deal, those claims are completely hollow. So can the Secretary of State reveal, because she couldn't tell us 2 weeks ago, how much is this deal costing the NHS, and when will she publish the full legal text so that we know the details of what the most favoured nation mitigations actually are?
Secretary of State.
I may have to offer the Honourable Lady a mince pie because she's talking baubles. This pharmaceutical deal will deliver faster access to new medicines for NHS patients, and it will deliver the security and stability that our world-leading pharmaceutical sector needs, including 0% tariffs on their exports to America for 3 years. We are also updating the NICE guidelines for the first time in 20 years, a significant deal that the ABPI has welcomed. It's a pity the Honourable Lady continues to act like Scrooge.
Julie Lopez.
If we're making Christmas jokes, I think this deal is all tinsel and no tree, Mr. Speaker. The problem is Labour trumpets about these deals and then is completely sketchy about what's actually been agreed. Just like the US-UK tech deal, we've now found out from President Trump that he's put that deal on ice. So despite all of that golden carriage action in September, despite the Prime Minister honking on about his negotiating skills, can the Secretary of State confirm the Prime Minister has actually nailed down none of the key details on pharma, no zero tariff pact on steel, and no deal on tech?
State.
We have signed a groundbreaking US-UK tech partnership deal that has delivered over £30 billion of investment into the UK, alongside our biggest ever investment into research and development, 4 AI growth zones, delivering 13,000 jobs in North Wales, South Wales, the South East and the North East. Our plan to upskill 7.5 million workers in AI skills and backing great British scientists. That's a record I am proud of. It's a pity she remains the ghost of Christmas past.
Right, let us come to Prime Minister's questions. Melanie Ward.
Question number 1, please, Mr. Speaker.
Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, the anti-Semitic terror attack on Bondi Beach was sickening. It has had a profound impact around the world, including on Jewish communities here in the United Kingdom. These incidents are not isolated. We think of the appalling attack at Heaton Park earlier this year, and these incidents are chillingly focused on some of the holiest days in the Jewish calendar. Mr. Speaker, I've been in touch over the last few days with the Community Security Trust, the Home Office and the Chief Rabbi about security for Hanukkah events here in the United Kingdom. Last night we held a Hanukkah reception in Downing Street, where I reaffirmed our fight against the poison of anti-Semitism. We will use all of our powers to make sure Jewish communities are safe and secure, as they should be. Mr. Speaker, may I also take this opportunity to wish you, all the staff in Parliament, every member and their families across the House a very happy Christmas, and a little festive advice to those in reform. If mysterious men from the East appear bearing gifts, this time report it to the police. Mr. Speaker, this morning I had meetings with ministerial colleagues and others. In addition to my duties in this House, I shall have further such meetings later today.
Ward.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I associate myself with the Prime Minister's condemnation of the horrific attacks in Australia. We must be clear that anti-Semitic terrorism is always an outrage. Mr. Speaker, at Christmas time, many across our country will be thinking of Bethlehem, where the situation remains extremely difficult. The government's important scheme for students from Gaza with scholarships to study in the UK expires on the 31st of December, but a number of scholarship holders and their children have not yet been permitted to leave Gaza. If this scheme closes, these brilliant Palestinians will lose their university places and we will lose their talent. Will the Prime Minister extend the UK's existing scheme into next year to prevent this from happening?
Prime Minister.
Can I thank her? And I know that Gazan students face huge challenges in taking up their places, and we're considering solutions for those yet to arrive. But I do want to be clear, I want them to be able to take up their places and continue their education in the United Kingdom. I'm proud we've also created the medical evacuation scheme for children from Gaza, and last week I met some of those who've been brought to the United Kingdom for specialist treatment in the NHS. Mr. Speaker, we continue to focus on aid into Gaza, and I'll make sure my honourable friend is kept updated on the next steps for students.
Leader of the Opposition, Kemi.
Mr. Speaker, can I thank the Prime Minister for his words on anti-Semitism? What happened at Bondi Beach was an atrocity. But words of solidarity are not enough. We know the evil we face. Islamic extremism is a threat to Western civilization. It abuses our democracies and subverts our institutions. It is incompatible with British values. So it is not enough just to protect Jewish communities. We must drive Islamic extremism out of this country. Mr. Speaker, I would also like to send my best wishes to our armed forces, to the emergency services, and to everyone who will be working over Christmas. And I would also like to take this opportunity to wish you, Mr. Speaker, the House staff, and all members of this House, including the Prime Minister, a very Merry Christmas. Mr. Speaker, it is the Prime Minister's second Christmas in Downing Street, and by his own admission, he's not in control. He says nothing happens when he pulls the levers. Does he blame himself or the levers?
Mr. Speaker, I'll just set out what we've achieved this week, Mr. Speaker. We're setting out our Violence Against Women and Girls strategy tomorrow. That'll be specialist support for abuse victims and the 999 calls experts.
Sorry, Prime Minister. Mr. Deputy, I expect better from you. Ex-serving officer, we expect the standards of a good officer. Prime Minister.
The next lever was 500 jobs protected at Grangemouth. Partnering with INEOS to safeguard the plant's future. Next lever was Erasmus scheme, which is being announced later on today from January 2027. The next lever, Mr. Speaker, the Employment Rights Bill, became law. The biggest uplift in workers' rights in a generation. I've got a whole more list, Mr. Speaker. I could go on for a very long time.
Kemi Badenoch.
Not sure exactly what that had to do with the question, Mr. Speaker. The fact is, the Prime Minister promised economic growth, but the only thing that's grown is his list of broken promises. He promised to reduce unemployment, but yesterday, unemployment hit its highest level since the pandemic. It has gone up every single month since he came into office. Why is that?
Mr. Speaker, the facts are these: 350,000 more people in work this year. We've got the lowest inactivity rate for 5 years. We are taking a number of measures to address this, particularly with the young unemployed. I would remind them that under their watch, unemployment averaged 5.4%, higher than it is today.
You too.
Mr. Speaker, I don't know what planet the Prime Minister is living on, but unemployment has gone up every single month under him. Youth unemployment, record levels. Graduate recruitment, lowest ever. He promised that he wouldn't increase taxes on working people, but he has. Last year, he increased national insurance. Last month, he froze income tax thresholds. So will the Prime Minister finally be honest and admit he broke his promise on tax?
Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, I'm very proud that in the budget we had record investment into our public services, we stabilised the economy, and we bore down on the cost of living. They voted against all those measures. But, Mr. Speaker, it is the season of goodwill. Let me congratulate the Leader of the Opposition. She's broken her own record since last week. Last week, 21 former Tory MPs had walked away to reform. She's broken that record because this week it's gone to 22. The former Vice Chair has now gone. So the question is, who's next? Now, it's hard to name anyone. Mr. Speaker, it's hard to name anyone because, according to the Shadow Transport Secretary, the Shadow Cabinet is full of, he says, non-entities. That's you lot. He should know.
Kemi, Badenoch.
Mr. Speaker, the Prime Minister is talking about non-entities as he looked at his cabinet. A bunch of turkeys they could fit right in a Burton Matthews factory. And he is one to talk. Last week, his MPs were calling him a caretaker Prime Minister. After what he's done to the economy, they should be calling him the Undertaker Prime Minister. Let's look at what else he's promised. The Prime Minister gave his word that he would help pubs. Yet they face a 15% rise in business rates because of his budget. Will the Prime Minister be honest and admit his taxes are forcing pubs to close?
Prime Minister, she knows very well that the temporary relief that was put in place during COVID has come to an end. That was the scheme they put in place. We supported it, but it was always a temporary scheme coming to an end. We've now put in place a £4 billion transitional relief. We've also taken other measures, creating hospitality zones, greater licensing freedoms and tackling late payments. We're also bearing down on the cost of living, Mr. Speaker, so more people enjoy a drink or a meal out, freezing rail fares, freezing prescription charges, £150 off energy bills, driving wages up. What did they do in relation to each of those, Mr. Speaker? They voted against each and every one of those measures.
Mr. Speaker, what pubs has he been speaking to? They've been barred from all of them. And let's look at another broken promise. I don't know why they're shaking their heads. It's not my fault they've got nowhere to drown their sorrows. Let's look at another broken promise. He promised to end the doctors' strike. He gave the doctors a 28.9% pay rise. What did he get in return? This morning, they've gone back on strike for the third time. In the middle of winter, in the middle of the worst flu crisis in years. Mr. Speaker, this shouldn't be allowed. We already banned strikes by the police and the army. Why doesn't he put patients first, show some backbone, and ban doctors' strikes?
Mr. Speaker, let me be clear about the strikes. They're dangerous and utterly irresponsible. And my message to resident doctors is don't abandon patients, work with us to improve conditions and rebuild the NHS. But, Mr. Speaker, they left the NHS absolutely on its knees, waiting lists through the roof and confidence absolutely rock bottom. And, Mr. Speaker, I take no lecture for them on industrial harmony. More days were lost to strike action on their watch than any year since the 1980s.
Mr. Speaker, of course he's not going to ban doctor strikes. He doesn't have the baubles. The trade unions didn't just buy him. They can shake their heads all they like. We all know who's running their party, and it's not him. The trade unions didn't just buy him for Christmas, they bought him for life. And this matters for all those people out there facing a difficult new year. The Prime Minister has lost control. It's not the levers that don't work, it's him. He's breaking every promise he has made. He promised to bring down unemployment, it's up. He promised he wouldn't increase taxes, they're up. He promised to end the doctors' strike, they're on strike again. Mr. Speaker, he said his main mission was economic growth, but the economy is shrinking. With a year like that, is it any surprise that all his MPs want for Christmas is a new leader?
Mr. Speaker, we got the Muppets Christmas Carol here. The defections are happening so fast that at Christmas the Leader of the Opposition is going to be left home alone. And the member for Runcorn is clearly dreaming of a white Christmas. But, Mr. Speaker, we know what the Leader of the Opposition wants for Christmas. Her list to Santa is this. Dear Santa, please freeze the minimum wage. Please push hundreds of thousands of kids back into poverty and scrap maternity leave. Merry Christmas from the Tories. Mr. Speaker, what we're bringing is cheaper mortgages, new rights for workers and lifting 500,000 people out of poverty. We've achieved more in 14 months than they achieved in 14 miserable years.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Ukraine is facing a fourth Christmas of war and loss.
A Ukrainian family I met last week spoke movingly of the help and support that they had received from our community in Newport, but also of the real pain of separation from loved ones still in Ukraine serving near the front line. Will the Prime Minister join me in paying tribute to the bravery of these families and those that support them? And can he also take this opportunity for them in giving the House an update on what more we can do from this government to support our Ukrainian friends?
Prime Minister.
Well, can I heartily agree with her? British families have shown incredible kindness and hospitality. We have been working, by way of update, with our allies on frozen Russian assets to support Ukrainians in their hour of need. Today, Mr. Speaker, I can announce that we're issuing a licence to transfer £2.5 billion from the sale of Chelsea Football Club. That's been frozen, those funds, since 2022. My message to Abramovich is this: the clock is ticking. Honour the commitment that you made and pay up now. And if you don't, we're prepared to go to court so every penny reaches those whose lives have been torn apart by Putin's illegal war.
Sir Ed Davey, Leader of the Liberal Democrats.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Can I wish you, everyone in the whole House and the whole country, a merry and peaceful Christmas? And can I join the Prime Minister in expressing our horror at the appalling anti-Semitic terror attacks on Bondi Beach on the first day of Hanukkah? Our thoughts and prayers are with the families and friends of all those who've been killed and injured in this senseless act of violence, and our thoughts with the whole Jewish community. Mr. Speaker, I'm sure we've all heard British Jews explain how they no longer feel safe in this country. Many of us have friends who volunteer to put on stab vests and stand guard outside their synagogue, and at Heaton Park in October, we saw why. Anti-Semitism is real, it is poisonous. We must all work together to stamp it out. The Board of Deputies have called for a comprehensive government strategy to tackle anti-Semitism. So will the Prime Minister commit to that today and set out what concrete steps he's taking to make sure Jewish people are safe in Britain?
Prime Minister.
Well, can I thank him for raising this really important issue, and it is really important that we have actions that match the words that we have expressed in response to these horrific attacks. The actions we've taken so far are increasing the funding for Jewish security up to £28 million. I'm pleased to do that, but I'm sad to do that. Having to pay more money to provide security for people to be at their place of worship and to go to school is a sad thing for this country to have to do. I've ordered a review of protest and hate crime laws to stop protests breeding hatred. We're looking at new police powers to deal with repeat and targeted protests. And we've launched a review and training to tackle anti-Semitism in the NHS. There are other steps that we are talking to the community about taking, but all of those actions have already started.
Red David.
Thank the Prime Minister for that answer, and I hope he will look at the proposal from the Board of Deputies. I think we can work across this House to end the scourge of anti-Semitism. Mr. Speaker, turning to the NHS, even before today's irresponsible strike by the resident doctors, patients were facing a terrible winter crisis. Thousands have been left on trolleys in hospital corridors for hours, no privacy, no dignity, some even sorting themselves because there was no response. And there's been some tragic cases, Mr. Speaker, some people even dying on those trolleys and left undiscovered for hours. And the expectation is that this could get worse. So will the Prime Minister make this his #1 priority to end this crisis, with a mass vaccination programme to stop so many people ending up in hospital with this virus, and funding the social care places people need to leave hospital when they're ready?
Can I say how unacceptable the conditions that some are enduring in our hospitals are, and there's no excuse, and it is our #1 priority. On vaccinations, we've had over 17 million patients vaccinated this year. That's an increase on last year, but I want to drive that up again next year because vaccinations make such a difference, both to patients and those who are staff within the hospitals, and of course we tax on social care. Thank you.
The McAvoy.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and Merry Christmas to you and all your fantastic staff. Prime Minister, 2025 has been a momentous year for Darlington, Britain's best town, but there is much more to do. I met a lovely woman out door knocking recently, and she works 12-hour night shifts at a care home in the town. Her colleagues are on minimum wage, and many care workers across the town aren't even paid time and a half for working on Christmas Day. Like so many in her profession, she wants the system fixed, not for herself, but for her residents. I believe that starts with radical improvements to care workers' terms and conditions. Prime Minister, this workforce of mostly women do essential, skilled and exhausting work without fuss, fanfare and still without fair pay. They deserve better. What can I tell the Darlington care workers will improve for them by this time next year at Christmas?
Minister.
Can I thank her? Carers are incredibly skilled workers. My sister is one of them, and I'm very proud of them and her for their invaluable work. I'm pleased that we've increased the carers' allowance earnings limit by the largest amount since it was introduced, and we're providing £500 million to fund the first ever fair pay agreement through the Employment Rights Act, which was passed yesterday to make sure care workers are properly recognised and rewarded.
Stephen Flynn.
It's the season of goodwill, so with that in mind, I don't intend, it is indeed the season of goodwill, so with that in mind, I don't intend on asking the Prime Minister about his broken promises on energy bills, the 1,000 jobs being lost in the North Sea, the fact that Peter Mandelson is still a member of the House of Lords. I won't even ask him about the chaos that is engulfing the Labour Party, his budget and indeed his own leadership. No, Mr. Speaker, I simply want to wish the Prime Minister happy Christmas. How does he intend on spending his final one in Downing Street?
Prime Minister.
I'm going to get an update from the Chancellor on Grangemouth in just a minute. He's clearly not interested in Grangemouth. You would have thought on a day like this that he'd want to welcome the £120 million of investment into Groundwood. It's a landmark investment protecting 500 jobs and hundreds more across Scotland's supply chain. And he can't even bring himself to mention it. Mr. Speaker, that's on top of the Typhoon defence jobs in Edinburgh and shipbuilding jobs on the Clyde. And after decades of SNP rule, they're totally out of ideas. They can't even welcome the Grangemouth news. Scotland deserves change next year with Anna Sawa.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. In 2020, my constituents, John and Karen Rowlands, lost their son Andrew in a road collision. He was just 18 years old and a passenger. Like too many others, Mr. Speaker, the driver of the car should never have been on the road. He was underage, unlicensed and uninsured and bought the car on social media using cash. Can the Prime Minister tell me how bereaved families like the Rowlands can have a meaningful say on our road safety strategy and ensure the right checks are in place to prevent future tragedies?
Prime Minister.
Can I send, I'm sure, condolences of the whole House to Andrew's family. It's an awful case, and every life that's lost to dangerous driving is a tragedy. In terms of the range of measures that we're taking to protect young drivers, they include penalties for driving uninsured and unlicensed, and measures to reduce the risks posed by unroadworthy vehicles. And in terms of influence of her and her constituents, I'll be very happy to set up an appropriate meeting for her constituents.
Ben Maguire.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I thank the Prime Minister for confirming a Cornwall-only devolution deal since my last PMQ. In 1988, over 20,000 North Cornwall constituents were poisoned by the South West Water Authority. In a recent BBC documentary, strong suggestions were made of a cover-up by the Thatcher government. None of those victims have ever been properly compensated, and today South West Water poison my constituents with impunity with their constant sewage dumping. Christmas swims across Cornwall have been cancelled again, while constituents like William Howes in Padstow have been hospitalised. will the Prime Minister please meet with me to finally deliver justice to all water poisoning victims and make sure this never happens again?
Prime Minister.
Well, it is right to remind us of what was a terrible scandal, and I will ask the Water Minister to meet him and his constituents to discuss it. He and the public are right to be furious that companies are still polluting our seas, lakes and rivers. Mr Speaker, we've taken action banning bonuses for bosses in 6 polluting companies, changing the law so that those who hide sewage bills can be locked up, and issuing almost £30 million in fines to clean up waterways. We're clearing up the mess that the party over there left, like everything else.
Antonia Bounce.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. The West Midlands car industry is world famous, and this government backs our automotive sector. We got a US trade deal, and when criminals shut down production at Jaguar Land Rover, we back the supply chain. Brilliant companies like JH Lavender in my constituency. What a contrast with the member for Clacton, not here as usual, who said, "I predict Jaguar will now go bust," and they deserve to. Would the Prime Minister agree with me that the workers of the West Midlands and the entire country need a Labour government and can't afford the economic vandalism of Reform UK?
Well, apparently the leader of Reform's in the lounge. I know he likes an early getaway at Christmas to get to his place in France. But, Mr Speaker, he lobbied for economic sanctions against his own country when he was in the United States, with no thought for British workers and zero patriotism. The difference is our US deal secured the best deal for the car industry, providing certainty for the workforce at JLR. And there's more good news, Mr Speaker, for the car industry this week, because Nissan is now building its new electric Leaf in Sunderland. That's the difference a Labour government makes.
Sir Julian Smith.
Compliment the Prime Minister on the work he's done on Ukraine and wish him well over Christmas on that topic. Mr Speaker, pubs are at the centre of rural communities in areas such as North Yorkshire. They are under more pressure than ever before. Could I urge the Prime Minister and the Government to look again at the rates issue and to look at how to relax the transitional relief for those pubs, many of which are otherwise going to close?
Prime Minister.
Mr Speaker, it is an important sector. At the heart of this challenge is the end of the temporary relief that was put in place during COVID, and that's why we put in place the transitional measures. And investing £500,000 into a hospitality support scheme to help rural pubs diversify. On issues like the cost of living, we've taken a number of measures to make it easier for people to go out and enjoy themselves in pubs, and we'll always look at what measures we can put in place to support pubs.
Ed Robertson.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. People across Lichfield, Burntwood and the villages will be looking forward to a very happy new year, not least because of this government's commitment to the Midland Rail Hub project, which will revolutionise rail travel across the West Midlands and further afield. We are all really eager to see a better service between Lichfield and Birmingham as soon as possible, though. So will the Prime Minister join my campaign for a more regular service on the cross-city line? And can he confirm that rail commuters will benefit from frozen fares because of this Labour government?
Minister.
Well, Mr Speaker, the hub means more regular services for up to 15 stations across the region. That's vital after the Lichfield to Birmingham service was slashed under the previous government. The construction will create around 13,000 jobs, and we're delivering them as quickly as possible with Network Rail awarding design contracts this week. Mr Speaker, we're also freezing rail fares. That's the first time that that's happened in 30 years, saving his constituents about £90 a year on the commute to Birmingham.
Andrew Snell.
Thank you very much, Mr Speaker. As the ghost of Christmas past scoops up the Prime Minister from his slumber in number 10 this year, I wonder what he will show him on Christmas Eve. Maybe it would be the devastated family farmer putting up the for sale sign on the yard, or the children hugging each other as their independent school closes, or any of the 100,000 hospitality workers who have lost their jobs, or the millions of families that are trying to work out how they will pay their tax bill to fund the ever-growing welfare state. So is it no wonder that the ghost of Christmas future has given up on this Prime Minister. And all that is left is for him to get his bag of coal from Santa and his P45 from his own MP.
Happy Christmas.